The sun had barely risen over the dusty horizon, painting the desert with streaks of gold and crimson. The town of Dry Creek was stirring slowly, the creak of wagon wheels and the clatter of tin pans echoing through the empty streets. Folks whispered about the rancher who lived on the edge of town, a man as mysterious as the canyons that cut through the landscape. His name was Samuel Harding, a quiet figure with a weathered face, eyes the color of storm clouds, and hands that told a story of decades spent wrangling cattle and wrestling with the land itself. It was a young woman who first spoke about the days being counted. Her name was Clara, and she had moved to Dry Creek only a few months prior. She was small in stature, but carried a fire in her gaze that made people take notice. "My father counts the days," she said, voice barely above a whisper, as though sharing a secret meant only for the desert wind. "Every sunrise, every sunset. He counts them like they're gold coins in a safe he'll never open." Nobody paid her much mind at first. Folks in Dry Creek had grown accustomed to strange talk. But Clara's words clung to Samuel Harding like dust in the canyon winds. He didn't know why, but the notion of counting days, of living each one as if it were the last, struck a chord deep in his chest. Samuel had lived by the clock and the seasons for as long as he could remember. Spring meant planting, summer meant tending, and fall meant harvest. Winter meant survival. He had never thought much about counting individual days. The land demanded work, and work left no room for reflection. Yet, Clara's words haunted him. The girl had a habit of wandering to the edge of his property, standing on the ridge as if she were weighing the horizon against some unseen measure. Samuel had considered telling her to stay away, but something in her demeanor, an unspoken sorrow mixed with determination, made him pause. He found himself watching her from a distance, wondering what haunted her young heart. It wasn't long before Samuel discovered the reason behind her cryptic words. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in bruised purples and oranges, Clara approached him cautiously, hands tucked into the folds of her shawl. "My father," she said, eyes glistening with unshed tears, "he's sick. He doesn't have much time left. Every day, he counts the days until he won't see the sunrise again." Samuel's chest tightened. He had faced droughts, stampedes, and outlaws, but nothing had prepared him for the weight of human grief laid bare like that. Without a word, he motioned for her to follow. They walked across the ranch in silence, the wind whispering through the dry grass as though carrying the voices of those who had gone before. When they reached the barn, Samuel stopped and turned to her. "Your father," he said, voice rough as gravel. "He may not have many sunrises left, but I'll see to it that he sees this one in peace." From that day onward, Samuel became more than a rancher. He became a guardian of moments. He worked alongside Clara, mending fences, feeding cattle, and tending the fields with a purpose that transcended toil. Each day, as the sun crept over the horizon, he reminded her father of the beauty in the ordinary. The song of a morning bird, the curl of smoke from a chimney, the laughter of a child chasing the wind. Clara's father began to smile again, fragile at first, then with a warmth that spread like wildfire across the ranch. Samuel never spoke of it, but he felt it too. The realization that counting days was less about marking time and more about cherishing it. He taught Clara and her father that life, even in the harshest conditions, carried small miracles if one only took notice. Word of the rancher's kindness spread throughout Dry Creek, and soon neighbors arrived, offering help in ways that surprised even Samuel. They brought food, mended broken roofs, and lent hands wherever needed. The town, once distant and indifferent, had rallied around a family who thought they faced the world alone. Samuel watched it all with quiet satisfaction, the old Western sense of honor and justice alive in every action he took. One evening, as the horizon swallowed the sun whole, Clara's father sat beside Samuel on the porch. He took the rancher's hand in his own, trembling but strong with gratitude. "You've given me more than time," he said, voice soft. "You've given me moments worth counting." Samuel nodded, looking out over the fields that stretched endlessly under the fading light. "We all count the days in our own way," he said, "but it's the way we live them that makes them count." The days continued, each sunrise a promise, each sunset a reminder. And though the illness lingered, the moments grew richer. Samuel, Clara, and her father walked together through the seasons, the ranch alive with the hum of life and the quiet, steady heartbeat of hope. In time, Clara's father grew too weak to wander the fields, but the lessons Samuel had instilled remained. They celebrated the harvest, counted the stars, and remembered that every day, even the smallest, most ordinary one, was a treasure. Dry Creek became a place where stories like theirs were told by firesides, where children learned that courage and kindness mattered more than gold, and where a quiet rancher named Samuel Harding became a legend not for the land he tamed, but for the lives he touched. And to those who wander across this tale now, remember this: life is fleeting, but the moments you give, the love you share, and the kindness you show are what endure. Subscribe to the channel to join us in uncovering more stories of courage, heart, and the rugged beauty of life in the old Western world. Be part of the journey, and let each day be counted not by the sun alone, but by the impact you leave behind.